Imagine, if you will, a scene of profound strategic deliberation. A leader, surrounded by their most trusted advisors, pores over a map, making life and death decisions. Only there's a slight hitch: the map is upside down. This isn't just a comical blunder. It's the perfect, darkly humorous metaphor for catastrophic leadership. It's a person making monumental choices while fundamentally misunderstanding the very world laid out before them. And if we dare to imagine this literally, the consequences quickly become less funny and more, well, cinematic in their sheer absurdity. First, troops would be sent marching in precisely the wrong direction. A general might confidently declare the enemy is to the north, only for their forces to trudge south, straight into a desert or an ocean. Supply lines, the very arteries of any military campaign, would instantly collapse. Fuel, food, and vital ammunition would be routed to non-existent fronts or delivered directly into enemy hands. Logistics would become a cruel cosmic joke. Then there's the delightful prospect of mistaking allies for enemies. A backwards map could flip borders, turning friendly nations into hostile territories, leading to some truly awkward and bloody diplomatic incidents. Terrain itself would become an enigma. Mountains might be mistaken for plains, rivers for roads, and impassable swamps for strategic shortcuts. It's a recipe for disaster, seasoned with a generous helping of utter bewilderment. Finally, all timelines would be utterly destroyed. Distances would be misjudged, causing armies to arrive late, exhausted, or simply vanish into the geographical ether. The entire operation would unravel with a tragicomic inevitability. Of course, no historical record explicitly details a leader literally doing this, but many leaders have made decisions that felt exactly like they were reading the world backwards. A leader gazing at a map backwards becomes a potent symbol, a stark warning, etched into the annals of history. It represents delusion triumphing over undeniable reality, a dangerous fantasy replacing hard facts. It speaks volumes about ego overriding expertise, where the leader's flawed perception trumps the collective wisdom of their most knowledgeable advisors. The truth becomes secondary to a self-serving narrative. This image perfectly encapsulates a government utterly disconnected from facts, operating in a bubble of its own making. Decisions are born not of data, but of a stubborn, inverted worldview. Ultimately, it symbolizes a war fought on fantasy instead of actual terrain, a conflict waged against an imagined enemy on an imaginary battlefield. The real world, with its inconvenient truths, is simply ignored. This is precisely why historians, with a knowing sigh and a wry smile, often employ this phrase metaphorically. It perfectly describes leaders who ignore geography, logistics, or basic military sense, often to devastating effect. Benito Mussolini. The very mention of his name often conjures images of bluster and strategic miscalculation. And yes, there is a legendary tale, often retold with dramatic flair, about him looking at a map backwards. While there's no single documented event of Il Duce literally holding a map upside down, the phrase has become a popular shorthand. It perfectly encapsulates a very real and very disastrous pattern of behavior. Mussolini repeatedly misread geography, logistics, and military reality, often with catastrophic consequences for Italy. The legend, therefore, serves as a powerful, if exaggerated, historical truth. Mussolini routinely ignored accurate military maps and the advice of his general staff. He insisted Italy could conquer Greece or Egypt quickly, despite terrain that made such ambitions laughably impossible. He famously made critical decisions without consulting field commanders. His ill-fated invasion of Greece in 1940 was launched without warning, proper planning, or any real understanding of the brutal mountainous landscape. He consistently misjudged distances and supply lines. In North Africa, he naively assumed Italian forces could advance hundreds of miles across the desert without adequate fuel, water, or logistical support. Mussolini also wildly overestimated Italy's borders and strategic position. He believed Italy was a prisoner of the Mediterranean, leading him to pursue reckless expansion to break out of an imagined confinement. Furthermore, he was notoriously poor at reading military briefings. Contemporary accounts describe him waving away maps and charts, preferring dramatic gestures and bombastic pronouncements over sober analysis. So, when historians speak of Mussolini looking at the map backwards, it's a powerful metaphor. It describes a leader who simply did not understand the geography of his own war, a man utterly detached from reality. It signifies a leader who made strategic decisions based on pure fantasy rather than the harsh, unyielding truths of terrain and logistics. His worldview was fundamentally inverted. This phrase also serves as a biting symbol of the Italian High Command's profound dysfunction. It highlights a system where the leader's delusions were allowed to dictate military policy. In essence, it's not about a literal upside-down map. It's about a backwards worldview, a mind that perceived the world not as it was, but as it desperately wished it to be. The myth stuck because it so perfectly fits Mussolini's actual documented behavior. His invasion of Greece was so poorly planned, so utterly devoid of common sense, that even Hitler himself openly mocked it. His North African campaign collapsed precisely because he failed to grasp the fundamental logistics of desert warfare. He simply couldn't comprehend the practicalities of moving men and machines across vast, empty spaces. His grand belief that Italy could become a Mediterranean empire ignored basic geography, military strength, and the inconvenient presence of other more powerful nations. It was a dream built on sand. The backwards map story is a perfect, tragicomic metaphor for a man who saw the world not as it was, but as he wished it to be. And in leadership, wishing rarely wins wars.